All right. I want to discuss the Tua injury.
Oh my God, Nick. I thought the first words out of my mouth is this is the last snap that Tua Tagovailoa is ever going to take.
Okay.
Do you feel that way?
I don't think so, man. Can I tell you something that I think I don't know if it's going to be controversial, but I know it's not the consensus because right now everyone is clamoring for him to retire.
You made a whole video about this.
Yeah. Oh, well, with the jiu-jitsu thing, right? You're talking
Yeah.
about? Well, yeah. I mean, that the jiu-jitsu wasn't going to help him there. What would have helped him there is basic quarterback fundamentals and sliding. Like every rule in the rule book is meant for the quarterback to be protected. And the thing that really upsets me about that injury is that it could have been avoided.
100%.
And that's what's really frustrating about the injury. And obviously, when you parlay the fact that there's the injury history and how we've seen it on multiple occasions in big spots where he has the T-Rex arms and it looks very scary. And then the conversation is, dude gotta retire. I don't think he should retire. I think that play in particular could have been avoided. Let's not forget, he inflicted the punishment. And I was talking to Zach. He's a wrestling coach over at the gym I train at, and he was a D1 All-American wrestler. And I asked him because I know in football, and you would know this as a football guy, I didn't really tackle many people. I had 2 career tackles as a quarterback, and one was on a punt because I was a punter for our team, and then I threw a pick and I got a tackle. But I remember my coach always saying, see what you hit. Like you never want to go and tackle with the crown of your head because you're not seeing. That's how you could get like paralyzed and shit. You get a spine injury.
Paralyzed. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and I asked Zach, I was like, bro, is it the same kind of thing in wrestling? Like when you shoot, do you want to see? And he was like, man, that's a great question. He's like, some people teach it that way, some people don't. If it's a single leg, if it's a double leg. He started getting nerdy with the wrestling.
Yeah.
But I say all that could have been avoided. And that's what I think is the most frustrating thing. He could have slid, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, every rule is meant for you not to even, you can't even brush a quarterback on the top of the head because it'll be a flag, right? Personal foul.
Mm-hmm.
And his contract, he just signed his contract. If he was to retire, he'd still make over $100 million. Beautiful. Which is great. But dude, it's hard to just tell it. Like, this is what this guy loves to do and what he cares about doing. I wouldn't be mad at any decision that happens with him. Ultimately, it is his decision.
I mean, but Nick, just think about this. And I maybe this is the fucked up part that I'll take it to. Ever since Tua's had these injuries, it just seems like their offense revolves around screen passes, a short game. And I don't think it's just because like that's Mike McDaniel's system. I think it's because you have a quarterback who, if he gets hit, even in the pocket, if he would have got sacked hard, that same shit would have happened, right? So I think it's in a way kind of limiting. And I don't think that the Dolphins are better off seeing this experiment continue. I mean, they won't be able to. I'm sure he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. He got off the field under his own power. That's great. But it's not a good situation for Miami. Like, you legitimately, as an organization now, have to think about what is our next plan moving forward. This is over. After this year, you need a backup. You need a high draft pick. You're probably not going to get one. Who do you give away to get a high pick? They have assets. But just to keep it on the Tua thing, if he does play, why not put Tua through a scientific protocol like you've never seen before? Let's have Tua play football until he's 50 years old. Every week, we shoot him up with the best drugs. We get like an exoskeleton on him, and we just study his brain as he continues to run himself into the ground. And in return, the NFL will pay out generations worth of money to the Tagovailoa family. I think that's a good call. Why not make him like generationally wealthy for real? He gets like a 5% share of the annual gross revenue of the NFL. But Tua has to play every single game until he's 50. No concussion protocol anymore. Would you be a fan of that? I mean, you're into fighting. You see people getting knocked out all the time. Are you not into the blood sport, or does he need a rest period?
I mean, he'll definitely. The other thing you need to factor in is the social media pressure, because immediately when
Antonio Pierce said it, yeah,
immediately the conversation was, "Do got to retire, do got to retire." He wasn't even off the field, and now tweets were flying left and right. What I wanted to say before, and I kind of went off on a tangent, but to bring it back to the same path I wanted to start this conversation, is it weird that I'm kind of immune to it because I see it all the time? Like, I see guys sparring at the gym. I watch UFC and Bellator and PFL. I watch all these fighting leagues. I go to amateur fights. I go to pro fights on the regional scene where dudes just get flatlined in front of me. And I'm like, yeah,
brother, yeah.
Fight doesn't go to distance, baby. Plus 105 cashes, right? Like, the amount of times when people I'm watching fights with every weekend, you know, the group from the gym, and they'll be like, yo, what'd you bet on? I was like, I hope someone gets brutally finished inside a minute and a half, so under. So to me, I'm kind of immune to it. And I know it's weird because, like, the whole concussion stuff, it's on the forefront, right? We've seen all these tragic stories with concussions and CTE, and there was the movie and all that. I just think it's hard, bro, you're in a really weird spot if you're Tua, if you're McDaniel, if you're the Dolphins, if you're the NFL, because if you do put this guy out there and he gets hurt again, it's going to be even more backlash, because how dare you put him out there? You saw how many times he's been concussed and all these hits that he's taken, and you have the pressure of that. And are you going to fold to it? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. For me personally, I feel as if whatever he decides to do, ultimately, it's if he knows that these are the repercussions if you continue playing, and he's cool with that, bro, I can't knock you, man. Like, how many times, I'm a big fan of the fight game. How many times are guys still fighting and they have no business fighting left? Like Tony Ferguson, he should have retired 5 fights ago.
Yeah.
But now he's just accumulating a lot of damage and brain cells and whatnot. And I'd be a hypocrite of saying this guy should retire when I see dudes get head kicked and spinning fucking roundhouse and I'm cheering for it. You know, like, you don't think those guys are concussed?
But at the same time, they also are on a limited timeline after X amount of knockouts. You know, it's not like every time that they get knocked out. It's not like that's the end result every single fight. So this is just a rare moment, and they just keep stacking up, and he has a long history of it. I mean, it just, at a certain point in time, what's the point of bringing him out? He makes the team worse. Like, I literally am going to stand on this. He somewhat was MVP candidate last year, but it's just because, bro, you have Tyreek Hill. You have the best player on the Dolphins to carry you to it. So,
but I also think that the offense was made for him to flourish. Like, these are his strengths, and we're protecting him too.
Nick, your strengths are bubble screens. Like, I mean, I'm going to be extremely critical of you. If your entire offensive repertoire is fucking RPO, you're an average quarterback. Like, you need to show me depth. And yeah, sure. Is he good at throwing a deep crosser on a one-on-one route? I'll give him props to that. But when your entire ideology is quick handoff, screen pass, I don't know. I can't fall in love with you.
Yeah, he's a very polarizing figure, man. That's why I always said him and Dak Prescott are such polarizing figures, because I feel like they're both the same kind of quarterback in a weird way. As far as what they bring to the table, as far as what they do for their team, they're good enough to get you double-digit wins, to get you a playoff appearance, get you a division. Remember, it came down to week 18 for Miami and Buffalo. The winner of that wins the division. So they're good enough, but then their ceiling is capped. And then in Tua's case, you have all the injury stuff that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
And last year they protected him, bro. They had that dude in fucking bubble wrap, like quick to Waddle, quick to Mostert and Achane, and obviously Tyreek Hill. It was all fast stuff. And his contract, right? 167.2 million of it is guaranteed. but most of the guarantees are not absolutes. If it was decided by a third party that, yo, you can't play no more, and he was to retire, he would get 80% of that contract. So roughly about 120 million he would still get.
Nice.
Unless you're an idiot, that's generational wealth. You should be fine.
Yeah.
Especially living in Florida, no state tax.
And he'll be the face of football in Hawaii forever. Name a better Hawaiian football player.
Listen, man, Troy Polamalu. Got you there. Come on.
Of course.
Come on.
I didn't know if he was from the island or not.
I'm not sure either, but he was the first Hawaiian I thought of.
I'm gonna hold on. While you continue, I have to see if
you looked that up.
If Troy was actually.
But dude, last thing on this, man, he won't be the first one to step away because of injury in their athletic prime. Let's not forget my boy Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck stepped away because dude was getting sacked.
He was born in Garden Grove, California. Let's go. Tua is the best Hawaiian football player you have ever seen, and his career is over. This is a tragic day. That's funny.
But yo, Andrew Luck, man. Andrew Luck retired early because he just kept having surgery after surgery after surgery, and he retired at a young age. And then it was because of injuries, man. And it's sad. It's a rough, dude. It's a rough fucking sport.
Yeah, but they got a good ride, bro. You get to be in the NFL. You soak it in. It's not going to last forever. It literally stands for not for long. It is a once in a lifetime experience. You're in, you're out. People forget about you a year to 2 years after it's over. Even when you're really, 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 really good, people will forget about you. And you better hope you make it to the Hall of Fame. We are a goldfish,
Gold jacket.
Gold jacket, but this is a goldfish generation. People forget quick.
Yeah. You ain't get it, man.
Yeah.
And especially when you don't win. Right? When you're not someone that wins championships, people definitely forget you. So let's see what happens with Tua. It's definitely going to be making headlines over the next couple of days until a decision gets made on what they decide they want to do with him. But George, before we get into some week 2 recap and this game I want to play with some of these 2-0 and 0-2 teams, let's go to Patreon. Patreon support for the show comes from Patreon, and also all things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. If you're watching this on YouTube, shout out to the thumbnail maker, shout out to the lower thirds maker, shout out to the banners that you're seeing on the videos. Hashtag pat yourself on the back because that's all me. All right, look at that bicep over there, brother. We're in the gym.
Kettlebells have been working.
Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. We got Daniel Gibson, Mahul Patel, Abel Rezin, Ben Coatsy, and Christopher Velasquez, Derek Plades, Dylan Chadwick, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, Nick Crummich, Thomas Robinson, and newest member of the Patreon, Alan Carafa. Thank you for your contributions to the Patreon. And shout out to also, we got Nico Rich and we got Jaleel Courage Mosey, my guy. That's my fullback on our flag football team. Shouts to Jaleel. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be